The pickup truck market is about to face its most violent transformation since the invention of the internal combustion engine. We are witnessing the end of the iron era and the beginning of an age of technological disposability, where many pickups you see on the streets today will simply become impossible to maintain or banned from city centers. Buying one of these models right now is signing a contract for immediate loss of value, especially the first numbers on this list. Let's go. Number 15, Nissan Titan. The Nissan Titan is the perfect example of a giant that ran out of territory. Despite its attempts to compete with Detroit's Big Three, the Titan has announced its definitive withdrawal for the year 2025, which means that by 2026, it will be a ghost in dealerships. The problem isn't just that it's disappearing from the assembly line, but that its resale value will fall into the void. Full-size pickup buyers look for long-term backing and parts availability, something Nissan won't be able to guarantee the same way Ford or Chevrolet can. Additionally, its 5.6-liter V8 engine, although robust, is a relic in terms of efficiency. By 2026, paying emissions taxes for this engine and dealing with its fuel consumption will be an irrational decision. The Titan dies because it never managed to find its identity, stuck between Japanese reliability and American brute force without mastering either one. The Nissan Titan represents one of the market's greatest ironies for the year 2026. While its 5.6-liter Endurance 5.8 engine is mechanically a highly capable block, its electronic architecture has aged disastrously. In 2026, owners of these second-hand units face a critical problem: the shortage of specific control modules that Nissan no longer produces with the same priority. Transmission, solenoid failure, and premature cracking in the exhaust manifolds are not only expensive, but they immobilize the vehicle for weeks due to lack of stock. In the used market, the Titan is a pariah. Its resale value has plummeted because buyers know that in the event of sensor failures in the engine management system, obtaining the original replacement part is a logistical odyssey. It's a pickup that, having a heart of iron, dies because of a plastic nervous system. Number 14. Ram 1500 Classic DS Body Style. Ram has kept the previous generation of its flagship pickup alive under the Classic name for nearly a decade, but the clock has stopped ticking for this model. By 2026, the DS platform will completely disappear from catalogs. It's a truck many people buy today because of its lower price, but it's an obsolescence trap. Its safety architecture is 15 years old, and its cabin technology feels prehistoric compared to the new DT generation. Most concerning is that factory support for specific components of this version will begin to decrease dramatically. Buying a Ram Classic on the eve of 2026 means acquiring a vehicle that was born old and will suffer one of the most aggressive depreciations in the market. The transition to the Hurricane inline 6-cylinder engines will leave the old Hemi engines in this version as museum pieces that are expensive to feed and difficult to sell. Selling 15-year-old technology as if it were new was a brilliant marketing strategy, but by 2026, the Ram Classic is the perfect example of tooling fatigue. Units produced in the final years of this body style show assembly defects that the original 2010 units did not have. In 2026, it's common to see galvanic corrosion issues at critical weld points and a Uconnect infotainment system that simply freezes due to obsolete hardware. The 5.7-liter Hemi engine in these classic versions appears to suffer greater camshaft wear, possibly due to relaxed quality control standards toward the end of its production. Buying a Classic in 2026, thinking it's a trusted bargain, is a mistake. It's acquiring an old design manufactured in haste by an assembly line that was already eager to move on to something else. Number 13. Toyota Hilux, current generation. Although it may sound like blasphemy to speak badly of the Hilux, the reality is that the current generation, which has been with us since 2015, will reach total obsolescence by 2026. Toyota is preparing a complete revolution that includes heavy hybridization and shared platforms with the American Tacoma. Acquiring the outgoing model in 2026 will be a tactical error. The current 2.4 and 2.8-liter diesel engines will face increasingly severe circulation restrictions in multiple countries due to emissions regulations. Additionally, the accessories and upgrades market will immediately shift toward the new platform, leaving the old Hilux as a work tool that has lost its shine. If you're looking for Toyota's legendary durability, the model disappearing in 2026 no longer represents the cutting edge of that promise, but rather the exhaustion of a platform that has already given everything it had to give. Even the queen of reliability has cracks. By 2026, the Hilux shows alarming degradation in interior material quality and recurring problems with the mass airflow sensor. But the real deception is the injection system in the GD engines. If ultra-clean fuel isn't used, repairing the injector rail costs a small fortune, breaking the myth that it can be fixed in any small town. Number 12. Ford F-150 with Coyote 8-cylinder engine. This is a hard blow for purists. For the year 2026, the legendary 5.058 engine will practically be out of the main F-150 lineup due to the corporate average fuel economy fines that Ford must avoid. The Blue Oval brand has decided to go all in on its 6-cylinder EcoBoost engines and PowerBoost hybrid variants. Even though the Coyote engine is a marvel of engineering, in 2026 it will be a marginal option, expensive to insure and penalized by environmental regulations. The reality is that the 10-speed transmissions are calibrated for turbocharged engines, and the naturally aspirated 8-cylinder feels increasingly out of place in a modern pickup filled with sensors. Do not buy the 8-cylinder version thinking about past reliability. In 2026, Ford's service infrastructure and software updates will be focused almost exclusively on 6-cylinder and electric platforms, leaving the big American engine on a path toward technical extinction. The best-selling pickup is also one of the most complex. In 2026, EcoBoost units suffer from timing chain stretch. The ticking noise at cold start is the death sentence of an engine that requires complete front-end disassembly for a repair costing thousands of dollars. The turbochargers, after years of thermal cycles, begin to show internal oil leaks, clouding the future of these units in the used market. Number 11. Jeep Gladiator, first-generation versions. The Jeep Gladiator arrived on the market promising to be the perfect union between Wrangler off-road capability and pickup utility, but in 2026 this experiment will have revealed its costly cracks. The fundamental problem of the Gladiator is not its aesthetics, but its mechanical architecture in the face of modern competition. Its 3.6-liter Pentastar engine is a design that can no longer hide its age. It lacks the low-end torque offered by the new turbocharged 4-cylinder engines that are dominating the mid-size pickup segment. For the year 2026, owners of a first-generation Gladiator will find themselves with a vehicle that consumes fuel like a full-size pickup, but has real towing and payload capacity inferior to a Ford Ranger or a new-generation Toyota Tacoma. Furthermore, the complexity of its solid axle suspension system, although loved by off-road enthusiasts, translates into much more expensive and frequent maintenance as the vehicle ages. The joints, shock absorbers, and steering components suffer premature wear due to the added weight of the bed, something the original Wrangler chassis was not initially designed for. In 2026, buying a used Gladiator will mean inheriting an endless list of structural noises and an infotainment system that feels like it comes from a past era, all while paying fuel bills that are not justified by its performance. Number 10. Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon with 2.8-liter turbodiesel engine. For years, the 2.8-liter Duramax engine was General Motors' pride for its mid-size pickups, offering impressive torque and enviable fuel economy. However, in 2026, these pickups are a financial time bomb. The main reason is the extreme complexity of their exhaust after-treatment systems. These engines depend on a network of nitrogen oxide sensors, diesel particulate filters, and urea injection systems that, upon reaching certain mileage thresholds, fail in catastrophic and costly ways. In 2026, environmental regulations will have made replacement components for these systems so expensive that a standard repair could represent a significant fraction of the pickup's total value. General Motors has already begun transitioning toward highly efficient 4-cylinder gasoline engines that match diesel torque without the nightmare of chemical maintenance. Owning a diesel Colorado or Canyon in 2026 means being tied to increasingly expensive fuel and engine technology that General Mechanics avoid due to closed, proprietary software. It is a pickup that disappears because the engineering that made it special has become its greatest weakness in the eyes of a market that demands simplicity and low operating costs. The 2.8-liter Duramax engine was the great promise of efficiency for mid-size pickups, but in 2026 it has become diesel mechanics' favorite headache. The emission system, composed of the diesel particulate filter (DPF) and the diesel exhaust fluid (DEF) injection system, is extremely sensitive to fuel quality and urban driving cycles. The diesel Colorado in 2026 is a trap. The savings you get at the pump end up being paid 3 times over in NOx sensors and forced exhaust system cleanings that never work properly. Number 9. Ram 2500. With 6.4-liter Hemi engine. We enter the territory of heavy-duty pickups, where the Ram 2500 with the 6.4-liter Hemi engine is living its final days. In 2026, the concept of a heavy-duty work pickup with a large displacement naturally aspirated gasoline engine will be seen as unacceptable inefficiency. Although the sound of the 8-cylinder is intoxicating, its ability to move heavy loads at high altitudes or on steep grades pales compared to new hybrid propulsion systems or ultra-high-pressure diesel engines. The biggest problem for the buyer in 2026 will be depreciation. With the arrival of the Hurricane twin-turbo 6-cylinder engines, the resale value of Hemi-equipped Rams will collapse. No one in the used market will want a pickup that requires constant stops at the gas station when alternatives exist that offer double the torque with half the consumption. Furthermore, the transmission paired with this engine has shown signs of premature fatigue when consistently subjected to severe duty cycles. In 2026, this pickup will be a reminder of an era of excess that no longer fits a world of optimized logistics and volatile energy costs. Do not buy it if you hope your investment will retain any value over the next 5 years. You will be purchasing a model that the brand itself is eager to forget in order to meet its sustainability targets. Number 8. Mitsubishi L200 Outgoing Generation. The Mitsubishi L200, known in many markets as Triton, has been the backbone of hard work in Latin America and Asia, but the version we currently know must be avoided at all costs as 2026 approaches. The Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi alliance has forced a platform unification that will leave the old L200 without next-generation technical support. In 2026, active safety systems that are now standard in the competition, such as enhanced autonomous emergency braking and AI-assisted lane keeping, will be non-existent or rudimentary in this model. The cabin of the outgoing generation is noticeably narrower than that of its rivals, and the quality of interior materials will not withstand the passage of time under heavy use. But the decisive factor in discarding it in 2026 is its transmission. While competitors have migrated to 8 or 10-speed gearboxes, the L200 remains with 6-speed units that limit power delivery and penalize highway fuel consumption. Buying this model just as the new generation based on the Nissan Frontier platform takes full control of the market means purchasing a vehicle that will feel like a relic of the 1990s in less than 24 months. It is a pickup that disappears not for lack of toughness, but because the working world has evolved toward comfort and electronic efficiency, areas in which the old Mitsubishi simply can no longer compete. Historically indestructible, the L200 has fallen into the trap of environmental regulations. In 2026, exhaust after-treatment systems, DPF and urea injectors are failing en masse, entering protection mode that leaves the driver stranded under full load. Cylinder head overheating under extreme towing conditions remains a weak point that many buyers discover too late. Number 7. Ford F-150 Lightning, first units. The arrival of electrification in the pickup segment was announced as a revolution, but by the year 2026, the first-generation Ford F-150 Lightning has become a painful lesson about the difference between a tech gadget and a work tool. The central problem owners face in 2026 is not just the natural degradation of the battery cells, but also the obsolescence of its software architecture and charging infrastructure. While a 10-year-old combustion pickup remains repairable in any workshop, the Lightning is a closed ecosystem. In 2026, many of these units will be out of warranty, and any failure in the power control modules or the battery thermal management system will result in bills exceeding the vehicle's residual value. Additionally, the used market has severely punished this model due to towing reality. Range drops by more than 50% when real work is demanded, making it impractical for those who need to cover long distances. In 2026, the Lightning represents the illusion that a pickup can be treated like a smartphone. When the battery or software fails, the vehicle becomes an expensive, immobile 3-ton paperweight. Number 6. Nissan Frontier, with next-gen direct injection engine. The Nissan Frontier was for decades the symbol of simple mechanical robustness, but its recent technical update to comply with emission standards has put it in a precarious position for 2026. The new 3.8-liter direct injection engine, while more powerful on paper, has introduced complexity that breaks the brand's legacy of invincibility. In 2026, carbon buildup on the intake valves, a common problem in portless direct injection systems, will start to wreak havoc on performance and fuel economy. Owners will find themselves performing costly chemical cleanings and partial engine disassemblies just to keep the truck running smoothly. Additionally, the 9-speed transmission, designed to squeeze every drop of fuel, shows constant indecision in gear selection under load, causing accelerated thermal wear on internal clutches. In 2026, buying a Frontier like this is falling into the trap of forced modernization. The long-term peace of mind of the owner has been sacrificed to meet lab metrics that don't translate to real-world durability. It's a pickup that disappears because it has lost its Japanese tank identity and become just another overcomplicated machine. Number 5. Toyota Tundra V6 Biturbo, current generation. This is perhaps the hardest hit for enthusiasts. The Toyota Tundra built its legend on the 5.7-liter V8 engine, a block capable of reaching 1 million kilometers with basic maintenance. However, in 2026, the current version equipped with the V6 Biturbo shows that even Toyota can succumb to efficiency pressures at the expense of absolute reliability. The problem is not only the engine, but also the peripherals. The electronic actuators of the turbochargers have failed, often requiring the cabin to be separated from the chassis to access and repair them. In 2026, this translates into prohibitive labor costs for any vehicle no longer covered by factory warranty. The technological illusion here is the promise that less is more. Although the torque exceeds the old V8, the thermal stress on internal components in a smaller forced induction engine ensures a significantly shorter lifespan. In 2026, savvy buyers will be desperately hunting for the last V8 units, while the Biturbo Tundras will see resale value drop as the market realizes Toyota's legendary reliability has been compromised by modern engineering complexity. In 2026, the Frontier faces the ghost of structural corrosion. The illusion here is a chassis that, though robust in appearance, lacks the galvanic treatments of its predecessors. Many used owners discover fatigue cracks at suspension mounting points after heavy use. Additionally, the dual-mass flywheel in manual versions has become an extremely expensive consumable, rarely exceeding 60,000 kilometers. Number 4. Volkswagen Amarok, high-performance V6 Biturbo versions. The Amarok has always been the pickup that wanted to be a luxury car, and in 2026, this ambition is exactly what removes it from the reliable used market. The V6 engine is a masterpiece of German engineering in terms of performance, but a logistical nightmare in terms of preventive and corrective maintenance. By 2026, the electronic sensor systems that manage permanent all-wheel drive and power delivery will start to show intermittent failures caused by corrosion in connectors and plastic material fatigue in the engine bay. The Amarok deceives the user with unmatched ride comfort, but hides structural fragility in key suspension and electronic steering components, which were not designed for constant abuse on unpaved roads. In 2026, owning a V6 Amarok out of warranty is like playing financial Russian roulette. A simple oil pressure sensor or turbo cooling system failure can trigger a cascade of errors that completely disable the vehicle. It is the ultimate tech pickup that disappears because the market has finally understood that in hard work, sophistication should never override mechanical resilience. Buying one in 2026 means paying a luxury price for a vehicle that will abandon you when you need it most. The Amarok's problem in 2026 is its technical complexity. The Biturbo engine is a jewel of efficiency, but a nightmare of sensors. EGR valve failure and the fragility of the accessory belt, which if broken can enter the timing system, have destroyed entire engines. It is a pickup that demands premium car maintenance, something the used market often ignores, turning it into a mechanical time bomb. Number 3. Ram 1500, models with e-torque system and air suspension. The Ram 1500 has been for years the pickup with the best interior and smoothest ride in its class. But by 2026, that smoothness has become a maintenance nightmare for second and third owners. The e-torque system, a light hybridization promising improved efficiency and refinement, is now a constant source of electrical failures. In 2026, Replacing the generator power unit and the 48-volt battery represents a cost that often exceeds the annual maintenance budget of any worker. The real Trojan horse is the air suspension. Designed to offer luxury sedan comfort, by 2026, the airbags and compressors are reaching the end of their life cycle. One morning, the owner finds their truck sitting on the asphalt, unable to move, with a repair bill at the dealership that is simply absurd. The Ram deceives because its aesthetics remain imposing, and the cabin is a wonderful place to be. But under that skin lies an electronic architecture not designed for longevity, but for a 3-year financial lease. In 2026, these units flood the used market at tempting prices, but they are traps for those seeking a reliable tool. The Gladiator suffers from a technical identity crisis. By 2026, water leaks in the removable roof have degraded internal electrical connectors, causing phantom failures in the dashboard. On top of this comes the death wobble in the steering, a design flaw that in units with certain mileage becomes dangerous and costly to permanently fix. Number 2. Ford Ranger Raptor 3.0-liter V6 EcoBoost engine, high performance. The Ranger Raptor is every off-road enthusiast's fantasy, a machine capable of jumping dunes and devouring deserts at incredible speeds. However, in the context of long-term reliability for 2026, it is one of the riskiest purchases possible. The fundamental problem is extreme stress. These vehicles are driven to the limit from the day they leave the dealership. In 2026, units entering the used market often show structural fatigue invisible to the naked eye, but evident in cabin noises and panel misalignment. The EcoBoost engine, pushed to pressure limits for sporty performance, requires surgical maintenance that few used owners are willing to pay. The turbines, operating at extreme temperatures and RPMs, show early wear on seals and bearings. The technological illusion here is selling a race vehicle as if it were an everyday pickup. In 2026, the Ranger Raptor is the perfect example of a single-owner machine. Spectacular when new and under warranty, but a bottomless pit of specialized engineering costs as years and abuse mileage accumulate. It is a legend that disappears because no one can afford to keep it alive. Number 1. Chevrolet Silverado/GMC Sierra engines with dynamic fuel management, DFM. We reach the honor spot and it goes to the Detroit giant. General Motors committed a cardinal sin in the name of efficiency, the dynamic fuel management, DFM system. This system allows the engine to operate in 17 different cylinder patterns, even running on a single cylinder if load is minimal. On paper, it's brilliant engineering. In the reality of 2026, it is a reliability disaster. Electronic lifters fail at an alarming rate, causing internal engine damage that often requires full block replacement. In 2026, the historically indestructible reputation of Chevrolet small block engines is in ruins due to this technology. Owners face major repairs before hitting 100,000 kilometers, something unheard of in a pickup of this caliber. The illusion is the promise of fuel economy in a vehicle designed to tow and haul. Marginal fuel savings were prioritized over the mechanical integrity of the vehicle's most important component. In 2026, the market has issued its verdict. Silverado and Sierra of this generation are the queens of planned obsolescence. They disappear from recommendation lists because the risk of catastrophic engine failure is simply too high to ignore. At the end of this tour of the pickup landscape of 2026, the conclusion is as clear as it is painful. The era of pure mechanics is dead. We have gone from a time when trucks were passed from father to son to a time when they are discarded like high-end appliances. The used market in 2026 is a minefield. Buyers no longer look for horsepower or 15-inch touchscreens. They desperately seek the last remnants of simplicity.